All right, let's do this. Stop the music. Transition me. Hello, everyone. Smells like Wrasslin, episode 49. On the way to the glorious 50 because I love even numbers, especially ones with a 0. Big fan. We got a lot of shit to talk about. It just seems like there's always stuff going on. Before we start the show, something non-wrestling related, I want to send my condolences to one of our viewers, Ben. Experienced a loss in the family, and I got to text you earlier today, but I just wanted to say, man, I'm sorry, and that we're with you, and if you need anything, any kind of support, your wrestling brothers are here with you. So we got a lot to talk about today. Some of it good news, some of it bad news. Let's get the bad news out of the way first. Jay Briscoe, tragically, one half of the ROH World Tag Team Champions, passed away yesterday. Died as a result of a car accident. Apparently, he was in the car with two of his daughters, and someone came from oncoming traffic and swerved into their lane, hit them head on. Jay, unfortunately, was not wearing his seatbelt at the time and was pronounced dead at the scene. His daughters are in critical condition. I believe one's undergoing back surgery. They had their seatbelts on, thankfully. So, one of the better tag teams of our generation, gone tragically. The Briscoes put some of the better tag team matches in Ring of Honor history. More recently, their trilogy of matches against FTR, which just ended in the double dog collar match that ended up leading to the Briscoes reclaiming the ROH titles from FTR. FTR's been on a hot streak since last year, and they were holding the AAA, the IWGP, and the Ring of Honor tag belts, and they had to lose them sooner or later, and they lost rightfully to the Briscoes, one of the better tag teams in Ring of Honor's storied history. And one half of that is gone. Jay Briscoe, a former Ring of Honor champion, if I remember correctly, beating Kevin Steen for the Ring of Honor title in Hammerstein Ballroom, if I'm not mistaken. Which meant it had to have been Final Battle. Yeah, it's just sad, sad when you see a great talent pass away so suddenly, and the fact that his little girls were involved, that's a pretty tough situation. So, my best to the Briscoes at this time. I'm sure a lot of wrestling fandom is thinking about them right now. Let's see. In the more bad news segment, Vince is now back in control of WWE. He used a bylaw in the charter for the company or some shit that allowed him to come back in. He is the chairman of the board. He is the majority shareholder. He is the one who controls the TV deals. This was, in my opinion, the plan all along. Vince knew he was coming back, knew it was probably best for him to step away from the company during its time of, when he was being investigated for sexual misconduct and misappropriation of company funds. Bro, like I said, this guy ain't, like I said last week, this guy isn't going anywhere until he's dead. period. And I'm pretty sure he put something, he's going to change the bylaws that when he dies, it's not going to go to fucking Steph, and it's not going to go to Triple H, and it's not going to go to anybody. He's going to sell it for, he's going to destroy it. He's going to destroy WWE. No one is going to be running WWE. He is not going to be a footnote in the history of WWE. He will be WWE. He is going to sell this off to some bullshit company, and they're going to pick it apart piece by piece until it's nothing like what WWE used to be. And all of a sudden, all those people are either going to stop watching wrestling altogether or they're going to go watch AEW. Because that's the closest thing to WWE that's out there on national television. I don't see any fucking WWE fans going over to watch New Japan. I don't see any WWE fans going over to watch Ring of Honor or PWG or freaking any of those places. The closest they're going to fucking get to what WWE is, if WWE is gone, is AEW. Because you know it. Those WWE fans, there's no way they're going to be like, I got to watch on YouTube. It's just on the network. They're not going to do it. They're not going to fucking do it. Those are fair weather fans. Fuck no. They are not. If WWE loses a television deal, they're done. They're done. And I don't know. But if Vince isn't going anywhere until he's dead. Apparently Triple H is still in control of creative. I don't fucking believe anything that they tell me. This company has been full of shit for decades, since the beginning. Since Vince took it over from Vince Sr. You know what I mean? Vince isn't going anywhere. And I am beginning to believe with each passing day that he just wants, he's not going to let anyone have it. He's going to destroy this shit before he dies. It's going to be a fucking nothing. You fucking think Vince is going to sell to Tony Khan? Fuck no. No way. Tony Khan may mention that, they're very vague mention saying that they're always interested in doing business. They're always interested in doing big acquisitions. It's a smart thing for Tony to say. I wouldn't have said outright. Even if I knew I was never going to buy WWE, I would have never said outright no to the press. Fuck that. I would have let that speculation ride. Until the speculation became gossip. And then all of a sudden, the only thing that anyone ever believed was that Tony was going to buy AEW. And then that's all the fans want. And then every single time a potential buyer that's not Tony Khan gets mentioned on the internet, the fans are going to go into an uproar, and they're going to be like, fuck this. They're going to try and tank. The fans would try and tank any single sale. Notice how quickly that Saudi talk was there, and then it was gone? The second the fans started going fucking apeshit about that, all of a sudden it was like, oh, we're not selling to the Saudis, oh. But who knows? They might still sell to the Saudis. You want to know why? Because WWE doesn't give a fuck about you. They don't give a fuck about the fans. They don't give a fuck about you. Period. End of story. It is a waste of energy to think that they care about you. All right? No fucking way. Thank God they don't have pay-per-views. I wouldn't pay for a single fucking pay-per-view that wasn't WrestleMania or the Royal Rumble. And maybe SummerSlam. Because Survivor Series is a fucking joke now. And that's supposed to be one of their big four. Unless Money in the Bank took its place. But, whatever. I think Money in the Bank shouldn't be its own pay-per-view. They should just have the Money in the Bank match as the opener to WrestleMania. I think having a ladder match to open up WrestleMania traditionally every year is way better than having that Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal bullshit. No fucking way, dude. No way. So, Vince is back. He says he's not in control of creative. I don't fucking believe him. That weaselly old bastard is taking over the company once again. And, I think I've said this before. I said this before Vince left. It's only going to take him dying. So, Vince's mother is fucking still alive. And Vince is only, in his 70s? There's a possibility we can have 30 more years of Vincent McMahon. Vincent Kennedy McMahon as a fucking 80, 90-year-old man still running the company. Still the guy who's in charge of putting on stuff that's on your television that you watch on your time. You're going to spend your time and your money off of a guy who's fucking almost 100 goddamn years old writing stories for you? Are you fucking crazy? Are you fucking insane? I mean, there are some people that, like, they just fucking just watch this shit and they just eat shit and call it caviar. And you know what? That's fine. You want to do that? Cool. I got no problem with that. But I'm not wasting my time with that shit. No fucking way. On the more bad news part, and you know, I feel like I have this rant a lot. And it's always about one division in particular. And I'm not, and this doesn't just go for one promotion. This goes for all the promotions with maybe the exception of Stardom. Because Stardom, I don't expect any sort of theatrics or storyline. I just want to see really good professional wrestling. It's the same reason I watch New Japan. I don't really watch New Japan mostly for their storylines. I watch New Japan for the wrestling. You know? So whatever storylines they have, I'm not really interested in because the in-ring story that they tell is fucking phenomenal every single goddamn time. But I'm gonna have to bring this up again. Oh, Khan's in the chat. What's up, dude? So I'm gonna have to bring this up again. The goddamn women's divisions. The women's division on first. Okay, let's go in chronological order. Let's talk about Rampage. All right. Rampage had the street fight between Willow Nightingale and Ruby Soho versus Ty Mello and Anna Jay. I say this all the time. Anna Jay shouldn't be a wrestler. They need to get rid of her. She's not a good professional wrestler. She's not a good sports entertainer. She's not good on the mic. She's not good in the ring. That's my opinion. She should just go on to do something else. I don't know what it is, but she should go on to do something else. All right? And I think maybe she's rethinking her career after Willow Nightingale almost fucking killed her by powerbombing her off the apron, totally missing the table and landing her flat on the fucking floor. All right? Now, I say this again and again and again. I don't care if you're a man or a woman. The best wrestlers should have television time. And that women's division, their talent, both in AEW and WWE and fucking Impact and fucking PWG and every single global promotion, if you compare the men's talent and the women's talent, the men's talent are far fucking greater. They have better matches. They hit harder. They move faster. They do more power moves. All this shit. All right? As a professional wrestling fan, I want to see matches that hit hard and that are technically sound. And I'm going to be real with you. When I do not ever in a million years find that in the women's division. All right? There are some diamonds in the rough, like the Jamie Hayter and Hikaru Shida fight. That match was fucking awesome. That match on any plane in any division was a fucking awesome match. But that street fight, Jesus fucking Christ, man. Unbelievable. Anna Jay tried to gig herself. She couldn't fucking do it. All right? Now, a couple of the street fight matches that have gone on in AEW with the women have been entertaining. All right? But as a whole, the whole entire division should be run on Dark and Dark Elevation. That's it. Have the women's fight, whenever there's a women's title defense, then have that on the pay-per-view or on Dynamite or on Rampage. But otherwise, the entire division should just stay on Dark and Elevation. They're not that good. And now that we're going in chronological order, let's talk about that fucking crucifixion of a goddamn promo that Bayley and Becky put on Monday. I wanted to die. All right? Bayley never saw anything in her. Never liked her gimmick. It's the same reason I don't like Willow Nightingale's gimmick. I don't like the whole, like, I don't get it. Like, you guys are hitting each other and you guys are fucking killing each other. Do you see any fucking UFC fighters in the men or the women's division just acting like goddamn clowns? Fuck no. And you want to know what happens? The ones who do act like clowns are the ones who get their fucking asses whooped and you never see them on television again. Unbelievable. That promo was atrocious. Becky, horrible promo. Becky hit her peak when Nia Jax punched her in the face and she became the man. She peaked and then on top and she peaked before WrestleMania. You want to know why? Because remember that whole back and forth thing that they were doing with the women's title? First, it was going to be Becky versus Ronda. Then Becky got injured. Then somehow Charlotte won a title, and then she wanted a match with Wanda. Then Becky came back, and then she got suspended. She's not going to be in Mania. Then she wasn't suspended. She is going to be in Mania. Then Charlotte was in the match, and Charlotte isn't in the match. And now it was going to be like a triple threat. That fucking storyline, they butchered it. Butchered it. And then it was just horrible. And then to top it off, Ronda's shoulders never touched the mat. So in the grandest stage of them all, in the biggest wrestling match in women's fucking history, they couldn't even close it off with a crisp pin. 2 shoulders on the mat. We couldn't even get that for Mania. Mania is the biggest event they have of the year. That's where all your best shit comes out, and that's what we got? Fuck that. I'm not cutting them any slack because they're women. They suck. Get them off the television. Put them on Dark and Elevation. The entire women's division in WWE, get rid of them. All of them. Put them on Main Event. Put them on NXT. I don't care. But I'm sick and tired of this waste of television time. And you want to know what? If all those divisions disappeared, the ratings wouldn't be affected one fucking bit. I guarantee you. The fucking demos would stay the same. You want to know why? Because their matches aren't fucking entertaining. They're not. Few and far fucking between. I'm sick of it. I'm fucking sick of it. They can't cut promos. They can't wrestle. There's maybe less than 10 women's wrestlers in the AEW division that have matches worth watching. And the same thing goes for WWE. Why the fuck would you have a division of 5 fucking people that could put on a decent match? If I had a men's division with only 5 good wrestlers, people would laugh me off television. Unfucking believable. Anna Jay almost fucking died. I almost died listening to that Bayley promo. Unbelievable. You're a Karen, but my name isn't Karen. I know your name isn't Karen, but you look like one. But my name isn't Karen. This is television, live, in front of an audience. I swear to God, I hope both of them like had really had a good nightcap. I'm talking about got shit face, because I wouldn't want to remember that night either. Anna Jay probably doesn't remember shit because she got pile drive right into the dirt. Then on top of that, they gave Willow a match on Dynamite tonight. Oh my God, unbelievable! I can't. All right. I don't care how this sounds. I really don't give a shit. How it sounds, all right? This is what I think. If I was to have 2 hours of television and I needed to put on banger matches and I looked at the AEW roster, I would be able to fill a month of matches on the card without even fucking looking at that division. It would be solely filled with the trios, tag, and singles divisions for the men. And they would all be banger matches. All of them would be banger matches. Dear God. Let's review Dynamite, for the love of God. So, tonight was a pretty stacked card. Main event was Darby Allin versus Kushida, which was a TNT Championship Open Challenge. So, Kushida coming from New Japan to fight Darby for the title. 2/3 of the AEW World Trios Champions, the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson, fight Darius and Dante Martin of Top Flight. The All-Atlantic title was on the line. Orange Cassidy versus Jay Lethal. Jake Hager versus Ricky Starks. Bryan Danielson versus Bandito. Willow Nightingale versus Toni Storm, which I'm going to let you guys know right now. I started watching Dynamite late, so I skipped all the commercials and matches that I really couldn't care less about. Take a fucking guess which match I skipped tonight. And then Hangman Page speaks with Renee Paquette. So the night starts off with the AEW All-Atlantic title being defended. Orange Cassidy defeats Jay Lethal to retain the title. It's another Orange Cassidy match with comedy and so on and so forth. And you had the best friends out at ringside. You had Jarrett and Lethal, Jarrett and Satnam Singh and Sanjay Dutt out there. Danhausen was running around. So the majority of the match, you were kind of distracted by shit that had nothing to do with the match, which was Sanjay Dutt just screaming that he was going to get fired, trying to make sure that Jeff Jarrett didn't get involved in the match and all this shit. You had Danhausen checking their tickets. You had the best friends drinking beer and popcorn. It is what it fucking is. So it was a semi-decent match. It was an Orange Cassidy match, and he won. There's really not much to say. At the end of the match, Satnam Singh jumped in to try to attack the best friends, but Sanjay Dutt put a stop to it. Jarrett went for a guitar spot. Dutt stopped it again. So I don't know what's going on, but Dutt is trying to put the leash on Satnam Singh and Jeff Jarrett in this little cabal that he has with Jay Lethal. So I don't necessarily know where that's going. Top Flight, in a massive upset, beats the AEW Trios champions, the Young Bucks. Awesome tag match. Did not see Top Flight winning. I am liking that this is now 2 surprise come from behind victories, underdog victories that we've had in the last month. I thought it was fantastic. You really don't see that much in AEW. Really, the guys who you think are going to win, and the guys who you think are going to lose. It's not really much of a upset thing. But, I like that they threw this in. It kind of makes me wonder, any day, at any time, if I see a fucking jobber fight a guy who I know is going to win, there's a very strong chance that jobber might actually win. So, I'm not calling Top Flight jobbers. They're a good tag team, but obviously they're lower on the card than the Young Bucks. I would have assumed the Young Bucks actually even being championship holders of the Trios titles. I would have thought they were bulletproof. But Matt and Nick Jackson and they both came out with Jay Briscoe armbands. They were not the only wrestlers that night that came out with them. Bandito came out with one as well. Great match. Lots of high flying, lots of spots. The Bucks went for the BTE trigger on Darius. He ducked the move. Then Darius rolls up Matt for the pin. Did not see that coming. I blinked and I was like, holy shit, Top Flight won. So congratulations to Top Flight on a great come from behind victory. And surprise underdog victory as well. The Gun Club came to the ring. They said the Acclaim embarrassed them last week by the one, despite they were saying that they were the reasons why the Acclaim are the champs. They're the reasons why the Acclaim are so popular. And they even gave the Acclaim their dad. The Acclaim interrupted. Austin yelled to cut their music. Got massive heat from the California crowd. Caster told the PA guy to cut Austin's mic. They hit a mix. They talked about how the Guns are worse than Hunter Biden, that there aren't bulldogs, they're bullshitters. They end up running into the ring. The Acclaim run into the ring. They get into a brawl with the Gun Club. Billy Gunn comes in, separates all of them, basically said that he thinks that the Acclaim should act like tag champions and the Gun Club should stop acting like entitled pricks. And they were going to have a sit-down next week, and they got 2 words for you: family therapy. So it looks like there's going to be a family therapy segment between the Guns, Billy Gunn, and the Acclaimed. Renee Paquette is backstage with Hangman Adam Page. He asked how he's feeling physically. Page said he stuck to his word when he said he'd knock out Moxley for making fun of him after what happened in their first match, which is when Hangman actually got knocked out and was out for a couple of months. Renee asked Hangman where it goes from here, and Page said he has to have some tough conversations. He's going to mend some fences, so maybe this is a hint at Page coming back to the Elite in what is probably the most long-term storytelling that AEW has ever done, the breakup and the reuniting of the Elite. Renee wrapped up the interview, and I think they acted like if the cameras weren't on them. So they started talking. Hangman asked Renee how Moxie's really feeling, and she said that he's been hurt for the last 10 years. And Paige was going to ask her a follow-up question, but held off on it, so I'm not sure. We got Harnor in the chat. Harnor asked, do you think if AEW and WWE will merge, if it will be a good move? Harnor doesn't tend to think so. So, listen, if AEW and WWE merge, it'd be the greatest massing of pro wrestling talent in history. It would be the greatest collection of pro wrestling talent since Vince bought up, WCW and ECW. because New Japan and all the other indies, they really didn't start hitting their stride until like the mid 2010s when AEW, once they started creating NXT. So it's not about the talent, it's about who runs them. It's like how like the Knicks, like their front office sucks. It doesn't matter what kind of talent you get. It's the captain that's steering the ship could take a good crew and sink them all. So if it would really depend on who was running AEW, this combined super fed of AEW and WWE. If it was like Hunter, I would say it's in good hands. If it's under the guys of Tony Khan, I'm still feeling optimistic. Because I would like to see what Tony could do with more resources and more television time. And I think if Tony had the television time that WWE had, he could come up with storylines that were just as good, if not better, than like the glory days of NXT, which I believe ran from 2015 to 2019, a solid 4-year period. So it really would depend on who's running the ship. But I do kind of agree with you that I don't think it would be a great move, because I think wrestling needs healthy free agency and good competition. There needs to be a variety of places for wrestlers to go for them to make a living. And I think having one wrestling company under one roof, unless everyone's getting taken care of, it's not really that good. Now, granted, WWE is big enough that they could run brands separately and have separate belts on separate brands, and it's like they own all different kinds of promotions. They have the resources to pull it off. SmackDown could be its own thing, and you never see their rosters transfer over. Raw could be its own separate thing. You never see their rosters transfer over. NXT, separate roster. NXT UK, separate roster. If you ran them all separately, gave them their own belts and their own hierarchy, it would definitely be good. But they do too much roster crossover. Roster merging. And it doesn't work out very good. You need to keep them all separate. So in a perfect world, yeah, but I do think that wrestling deserves better free agency and different places where you could find different kinds of products. I like that AEW is not like WWE. It's like a cross of like PWG, New Japan, and NXT, and I like that. I'm not necessarily a huge fan of the WWE product, have I been watching Raw and SmackDown lately? Yeah, because Triple H was in charge and he was the one running things, and they signed guys back like Gargano that guys like Vince would never ever sign. Now who fucking knows what's going on? But that's why I came back to watching it, and I just needed a little bit of variety. You know what I mean? I didn't just want to I watch AEW and I watch New Japan. And now I also watch WWE. I do not watch NXT anymore. It's not like the NXT I once knew. So, there's that. Storyline issues, though, would make it complicated. I mean, I'm of the opinion, and I think I said this last week, that if AEW and WWE were ever to do like a Forbidden Door kind of deal, like a cross-promotion kind of deal, in my opinion, they should do something like that once every 4 years, like World Cup and the Olympics. They do a massive super show. They only have it in one location. I think Texas would be good because they should have it at Dallas Cowboys Stadium, because they could 110% sell out that place with a wrestling supercard like that. And just do marquee matches. AEW, WWE, Impact, PWG, all wrestling promotions should come together for one weekend, 2 nights every 4 years. That's what they should do. Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing cross-promoting on a regular basis. I wouldn't be crossing storylines. I would have them all as they are right now, completely and totally separate. That's how I would do it. But I do think that there is money to be made in a once every 4 years cross-promotional kind of deal, where every promotion is in and they just have a super card. I think that would be awesome. I think it'd be cool to get like an Okada versus a Roman Reigns, or an Adam Cole versus a Seth Rollins. I think that would be pretty awesome. And I think if you only do it once every 4 years, it's a lot of buildup, and you're always gonna have like a banger card, and it'll always sell out, and it'll never get tired or played out. I don't think they should run any sort of swerves there. They should all be clean wins and finishes, and that's pretty much it. That's what I think. Put a couple of... now, if you want to do some maybe put a couple of titles on the line that could be actually crossed over. I mean, granted, WWE would never do it, so, like, maybe if they want to have, like, 2 guys within WWE have a match that's pretty big and have it for their own title to keep in their own promotion, sure. I think that would be fine. But I don't think any titles really should change hands in between promotions at that card. I think it should just be an ode to professional wrestling, and every art of professional wrestling is showcased, whether it's fucking hardcore shit, or technical wrestling, or Japanese strong style, or British strong style, or any of that shit. Like, that's what it should be about, to showcase the art of professional wrestling. Ricky Starks defeats Jake Hager. Majority of this match was in picture-in-picture, so there's not really that much to talk about, to be quite honest. Ricky Starks wins, and that continues this whole storyline between him and Andretti and the JAS. They had a brief video package on the return of Adam Cole. I don't think Adam Cole is back. I just think he's close to being back. So I could only assume that if I were Tony, he's making his comeback at Revolution in some sort of match. So that's what I would do to build the card. The return of Adam Cole, I think it's a big match. You could have him face whoever, and it would be a big fucking deal. Shivani was backstage with Chris Jericho, all pissed off after the loss that the JAS suffered. He's back there with Daniel Garcia and Sammy Guevara. Jericho said he's requesting a tag match next week against Starks and Andretti, against himself and Sammy Guevara, Les Sex Gods. Garcia demanded he be on the team with Jericho instead of Guevara. Guevara was proud of Garcia for stepping up. Garcia says if he beats Action Andretti on Rampage, he wants to have Guevara's spot in the tag match. So Guevara presented Garcia with new ring gear, which is leather pants, which I guess is a staple of the JAS. Leather pants for their like 80s rock kind of gimmick. So Jericho said it doesn't matter if it's Les Sex Gods or Garcia Cho. I fucking hate when they combine names. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like this all started with the fuck was it? When they started combining celebrity names, celebrity couple names. Like Ben Affleck and J-Lo, didn't they have their own name? I fucking forgot what it is, but whatever. It's stupid. I hate it. It's stupid. Everyone tries to redo it. It's stupid. It was stupid in the beginning. It's fucking stupid now. Stop trying to combine names. What I think they were calling Ty Mello and Anna J like Tay J. Stupid. It sucks. Anywho, Bryan Danielson defeats Bandito. It was a fucking awesome fucking match. All right? If this storyline is going to be that Bryan Danielson is just going to have matches against all people in AEW who we wish he would have matches against, it would be awesome. But they said he was going to fight Brian Cage next week, so that all went down the shitter. Because I am not a fan of the character Brian Cage, nor the wrestler Brian Cage. Now he's going to fight Danielson. I'd rather see Omega fight a kid again, to be quite honest. Awesome match. Danielson did this fucking crazy... I don't know. I don't know what it was, but literally, like, it was pure core strength that Danielson was able to curl himself up and put himself into a move to take out Bandito. I thought it was fucking awesome. Lots of submission maneuvers, obviously, because it's a Danielson match. He hits the Busaiku knee, 1, 2, 3 pin. Actually, no. Didn't he put him in the, he hit him with the Busaiku knee, and Danielson got the win. MJF appears on the screen, calls the fans fickle, saying that Danielson has been dealing with Masked Max, which is like a nice, happy-go-lucky fun Maxwell, Jacob Friedman. But to watch out because he is going to take off the mask and it's going to be the dragon versus the monster. I fucking hate when they do this shit. Like, because Bryan Danielson is the American Dragon. You got people who call themselves the Dragon Slayer and the Monster, and it's like a monster versus a beast. And da 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 da. I just don't care. All right, just stop. It's just it's just stupid. It's just stupid promo work. But hey, and now they're gonna have fucking Danielson fight Brian Cage. Ugh. I mean, I will say this. The last several weeks of AEW have been fucking awesome. They've been putting on great matches, great promos, all this shit. Been very, very happy with it. But, every once in a while they do something kind of fucking dumb. So whatever. They had some comments of Saraya and Hikaru Shida. Like I said, I was late. I skipped over it. Who fucking cares? You want to know about it? They probably have it on YouTube, but I'm not going over it. I'm not wasting my time. All right, I'm not Tony. I'm not going to waste I'm not going to waste the television time that I give you guys on that. Brian Cage is going to fight Danielson next week. Renee Paquette's backstage with Cage and Prince Nana. MJF interrupts, says he needs the machine next week, gives Brian Cage an envelope of cash. He says he doesn't care if you wins, just break Danielson's arm next week. MJF slapped Brian Cage. Brian Cage grabbed MJF by the throat. Prince Nana kind of got in between them and just kept telling Brian Cage to remember about the money. MJF did that. He's like, you feel that? That's hate. That's what I want you to bring to Danielson next week. I actually thought that was pretty fucking cool. Like, that was a pretty cool motivator. I like that, like, they had the whole money thing, and that was pretty much what kept MJF bulletproof because he's a fucking rich heel, so he pays off all the monsters to kill everybody else. So I thought that was kind of cool, except for the fact that Brian Cage is going to be in a match with Danielson when there's about a dozen other people on the roster that he could be having a way better match with. What the fuck do I know? I'm just a paying customer. The fuck do I know? Anywho, they had Tony Storm defeats Willow Nightingale. I skipped over the match. We're not talking about it. Renee Paquette is backstage with Konosuke Takeshita, asks him about his match with Danielson last week. Takeshita says he respects Danielson so much, and he said he's going to watch his Danielson's back because he doesn't trust MJF. Then Takeshita said something in Japanese. Renee asked him what that meant, and he said MJF is asshole. So Takeshita's awesome. I hope he continues to have banger matches. And I hope his English gets better so he can cut better promos, because I think that's going to allow him to have a better chance of having a more marquee spot on television. But if he's just going to be that guy who just is a workhorse and puts up awesome, like, New Japan-esque matches in AEW, I'm all for that, man. That's fucking great. I'm all for that. Main event, Darby Allin with Sting defeats Kushida to defend the TNT title. This was pretty awesome. Kushida with the hoverboard lock really focused on Darby's arm. Darby left from the outside. Kushida caught him in an arm bar, which I thought was awesome. And then and then also, like, pulled back on the wrists as well. Like, that looked excruciating. Awesome match. I like the fact that New Japan guys are coming in and challenging for the TNT title. I love that the TNT title is an open title. Lots of fun. Really enjoyed it. Great Dynamite overall. Darby Allin with the victory. Rampage is gonna, so far, is Daniel Garcia versus Action Andretti. Eddie Kingston speaks. Brian Cage versus Willie Mack. Jade Cargill and Layla Gray are gonna be in tag team action. Jungle Boy Jack Perry takes on Ethan Page. And the only thing they have set for Dynamite next week is Bryan Danielson faces Brian Cage. They said to announce more matches for Dynamite on Rampage, so that's all we know for right now. And that, my friends, how we say, is that. I apologize. Like I said, I apologize for starting the podcast late. I couldn't get out of my actual job early, so I apologize. But we actually had a pretty good streaming crowd tonight. I saw about like 6 of you there, which is kind of cool. That's pretty much a high number for me. So I want to thank you all, Honora, Khan, anyone else who was in the chat or anyone who was viewing. I appreciate your support. That's it. that's it for this week of Dynamite. Next week, episode 50 of the Smells Like Wrasslin podcast. I want to thank you guys all for supporting me these last 50 episodes. Like I said, things are only going to get bigger and better for the podcast as, I continue to, come up with new ideas and continue to evolve and change the podcast. So I'm very excited about that. Thank you guys all very much. Thank you to Khan and Harnor in the chat for participating. Thank you for everyone who's watching live and anyone who's going to be watching later on this week. Something's been going on with like my outro music. Let me see if I can get this back. Is this working? What's going on here? No? Oh, there it is. All right, cool. All right, guys. So, thank you very much for tuning in. I will see you guys next week with episode 50. Thank you very much. Rest in peace, Jay Briscoe.